What's up, YouTube fam? So today we're going to be talking about a film that has a really unique opening, and it's really unique because of really just how weird it is saying this. But this film will be coming to theaters starting June 30th. Like, yes, the coming to theaters part is what I'm talking about. But there's also a little added twist to that, because not only is it just coming to theaters, it's coming to drive-through theaters, drive-in theaters, which is, if you've never done it, you absolutely got to try it out. But for states like Florida and Texas, you have a treat at your hand starting June 30th. And for all the other states and people who wants to view this, video on demand, July 7th for you. And this film is Skyman. Now, it did make its world premiere back in 2019 at the Austin Film Festival. And then it did screen at other film festivals as well. But nonetheless, it is now available for purchase and rental, either, again, viewing at a theater or on video on demand starting June 30th. But yes, Skyman. Now, there's a lot of little things about this film I want to talk about. First of all, it's a sci-fi film, and it's written and directed by Daniel Myrick, who, if you have never heard of the name, I'm sure you heard of these projects. The Blair Witch Project, I know that was a pun, but I didn't even plan that, actually. And then The Objective. And this film does follow Carl Merryweather. So when Carl was 10 years old back in 1987, he went on a camping trip with his father, and he witnessed something that changed his entire life. He had an encounter with an extraterrestrial being, life form, an alien, which he referred to as the Skyman. So while that happened for Carl, a ton of other people within this town also had their claims of seeing things and witnessing things and so on. But locals reported, and while locals reported that, the authorities just paid Carl no mind here. They were just like, okay, cool. So young Carl, now 30 years later, alongside of his sister Gina Campbell, are destined to reunite with this alien. And not only is his goal to prove everybody wrong here, because the alien said he will return in 30 years, the same as that place, time, and everything, but this is also a mission for Carl to really seek what his true purpose is. So, with that being said, this film, much like the Tony Blair Witch Project, this film really brings you into that state of like wonder, curiosity, and just exploring one's imagination. It truly takes you to those possibilities. And much also like the Blair Witch Project, this film really presents really unique interactions between its characters, really bringing about a lot of drama, but also kind of surfacing the realism of mental health issues and so forth. So they do explore those as well, which I think is really, really unique, and actually at points can kind of be a little bit emotional the more you get into this film. But this film is really, it's filmed in that documentary style. So not quite like a horror, but like a mystery. But it's a true footage film. And by footage film, like the discovering of films and video recording. Like the Blair Witch Project or like Paranormal Activity and stuff like that. Cloverfield is another good one. But yes, with that being said, the cinematography is amazing because it really caters to it. It's very raw, and obviously some of this film is kind of set back into the 80s. And the aesthetics represent that adequately, but also modern, and I think it does a good job as well. And between these two eras, it is still both really raw, and I really did like that. Now, the music was excellent, but here's a gem to that. Now, obviously, if you're following the channel, you know the things that I like to review and so on. So, Billy Corgan, who is the owner of NWA, which is a wrestling promotion, alongside of Don Miggs of Smashing Pumpkins, they composed this, which is like, wow. And I loved it, and just digging into this, getting ready for the review, I was like, wow, who would have thought? So that was an amazing gem that I found. And I also, speaking of another gem, I really, really, really love the inspiration behind the director wanting to really put a purpose within this film. Not only just being a fan and growing up in an era of people believing in Bigfoot and so on, but much like the character Carl here, he just really, he spoke to the idea of that many people, much like himself, much like Carl, everyone's just looking for and searching for something greater in themselves. And I think that was like a really good message and really good narrative and theme that, you know, is true to everybody. So I really loved how that was like the undercover theme within this film. Now, when it comes down to the performances here, no, Michael Selle, who plays Carl, does an amazing job nonetheless. Very vulnerable, and just, you know, with being that awkward person, but, you know, striving in purpose, having his own challenges and so on, does an amazing job. But Gina, who, you know, his sister in this film, who is played by Nicolette Sweeney, she did an amazing job here. Really a tremendous job, not only just with the dynamics of her character, but really complimenting Michael here in this film. The two of them really took the ball and ran in this film. So I really love that duo of them to the forefront of this film. But, you know, my one thing I will say that my reserve with this film is that although this is a footage style film and documentary, a lot of it felt written. And what I meant by that, if it's supposed to kind of be impromptu, kind of like, hey, I found this film and these are kind of the events that's happening, some of the acting and some of the scenes just felt like really written. So it kind of felt a little unnatural. And you know what I mean? So, you know, because the idea of somebody's filming you while you're going through events of things, and it's supposed to be really natural and organic, but there was a couple of scenes I was just felt like this felt like really, really written. But other than that, you know, for me not being, you know, a huge fan in this genre, the movie did exactly what I felt like it was supposed to do for me. It left me with my mind thinking like other possibilities, just being open-minded, period, to these things. And then I felt like as well it struck towards my imagination, and you know, for Carl, who whole purpose is to make someone a believer. You know, much like I was as a kid, I'm actually in, you know, in the Washington, D.C. area where the Blair Witch Project was, you know, in Maryland. You know, much like a kid, we were just firm believers of it. I feel like now, even as an adult, this film does a good job of making you consider the possibilities here. So I think for anybody who's a huge fan of this genre, you'll absolutely love it. A huge fan of Daniel's work, you'll absolutely love it. And then I think the overall really low key thing, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to say, but when it comes down for a driving movie experience, oh, this is an amazing film, because the visuals is just will really make it just all more worth it. But yeah, like I said, you can you know, depending on your state, you can check this out in theaters June 30th, and if not, video on demand July 7th. So anyway, as always, let me know what you think about the film. Come back in the comments, let me know, and I'll catch you for the next review, folks. Thank you for watching.